This is WFYI News Now. It's February 11th, and I'm Abriana Herron. On today's show, a bill working its way through the State House that aims to address Indiana's road funding needs, and how political party influence could soon enter school board races.
I was on the school board for 8 years, and that's why this bill has come existence, because I found it to be one of the more partisan positions that I ever served, but it's hitting under the radar.
Those stories coming up. But first, the Damien Center in Indianapolis has for decades focused on immediate crisis response for people with HIV and AIDS. As WFYI's Jeremy Rubin reports, the group's new project is focused on long-term support.
Cafe Aztara opened Friday, offering locally sourced coffee and a variety of pastries. But there's a larger vision for the 4,000-square-foot facility. Along with an art gallery and a performance space, the Damien Center will use Cafe Aztara to provide long-term support for people in need. Here's President and CEO Alan Witchey.
And this is a place where we get to help people go to the next level once they've gotten some stability to say, hey, I want to get into the workforce, I want to increase my income, I want to increase my skills, I want to increase my education, and all those things will happen here.
The Damien Center's new headquarters, being built next door to the cafe on Washington Street, is set to open in May. I'm Jeremy Rubin.
A House committee unanimously advanced a bill Monday that aims to address Indiana's road funding needs, but not before eliminating multiple provisions that would have generated new revenue. The original bill would have allowed counties to create a new tax on retail deliveries. It also would have required private companies to help pay for infrastructure needs in order to receive state economic development benefits. Those provisions were stripped out of the legislation. Bill author Republican Representative Jim Pressel says the initial measure was meant to provide a plate of options.
And my goal was really to start multiple conversations, good, bad, or indifferent.
Democratic Representative Carrie Hamilton proposed increasing the state's excise tax rate, which she says hasn't been raised in decades.
I hope that we will continue to look for new ideas to bring dollars to the table.
The bill does include language making it easier for the state to begin tolling interstate highways, and it requires local communities to adopt wheel and excise taxes to be eligible for some state road funding. And for our final story today, when Indiana voters decide on a school board's direction, there's no label of Democrat or Republican stamped next to the candidate's name. From WFYI's Education Desk, Rachel Fredette reports how political party influence could soon enter school board races.
State law requires school boards to be nonpartisan, so candidates don't run with a party affiliation. But school boards and their races are becoming more and more partisan despite that law. Some candidates unofficially declared for a party during their 2024 campaigns.
I was on the school board for 8 years, and that's why this bill has come existence, because I found it to be one of the more partisan positions that I ever served, but it's hitting under the radar.
That's Senator Gary Byrne. He drafted a bill that requires school board candidates to run with a party. Critics of the bill say it would divert the focus of the school board from student outcomes to party loyalty. Board members set policies and strategic goals, hire the district superintendent, and oversee the budget. I'm Rachel Fredette.
The bill will now be debated by the Indiana Senate. And that's all for today's episode of WFYI News Now. Our podcast is produced by Drew Daudelin and Zach Bundy, with support from the news team at WFYI and public media journalists across the state. Our news director is Sarah Neal-Estes. Kendall Antron produced our music, and I'm your host, Abriana Herron. If you like today's episode, remember to subscribe and share, and follow WFYI on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube to check in on our newsroom throughout the day. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow.